Hey guys, it's me. It's Queen Offset Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Alright guys, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, pass it on to somebody else who may like it as well, and leave us a positive comment in the comment section. Now I wanted to tell you guys that I'm turning 43 on February the 13th. So I've decided to take off. A good friend of mine convinced me that I needed to rest. And she's right, I'm exhausted. And she was like, why don't you just take a few days for your birthday? So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I'm not going to be doing much of anything. So I will be uploading again on Monday, February 17th. And I'll be uploading 2 new videos. So today you're going to get 2 videos, and my patrons will get 1 episode of the witch trials, and then I'll be gone until February the 17th. Okay? So in case you're wondering, where is Queen? Queen is tired. And she's laying in the bed trying to get some rest for a few days. In honor of my birthday, I figured I would give myself a little rest. Okay? So today we're going to talk about something that's rather interesting to me. You know, we've had a lot of conversations on this channel around Aquarius and our feelings, Aquarius and our emotions, or lack of dealing with, I really should say. So we've had a lot of those kinds of conversations here. So what I'm going to talk about, we have talked about before, but we've talked about in passing with feelings, okay? So people keep asking me about conversations with Aquarius. They want to talk to their Aquarius about what's wrong in the relationship. They want to talk to their Aquarius about closure, is a big one. They want to talk to their Aquarius about different things, and the Aquarius either avoids the conversation or flat out just says no. And they come to me and they're like, Queen, what is the deal with Aquarius not wanting to talk, not wanting to have these conversations? And there's actually a subscriber on Ask an Aquarius who always teases me and says, Aquarius, use your words, because Aquarius have the tendency not to want to use words. And she's like, you know, there people, everybody is asking me, what the heck is that about? Well, let me explain something. Aquarius, and some of you know exactly what I'm getting ready to say, Aquarius hates difficult conversations. Now, I don't really think anybody likes them. I don't think anybody wakes up and thinks, hey, I'm gonna call my mother and have a difficult conversation today, you know? I don't think anybody likes them per se, but Aquarius avoids them like the plague. And I'm gonna tell you, most Aquarius, if it's necessary, will bite the bullet and deal with the uncomfortable conversation. So if my husband is mad at me, or my wife is mad at me, or my sister is mad at me, and I really need to apologize, the Aquarius, if they really see that and feel that in their heart, will bite the bullet and have the hard conversation. I've had plenty of hard conversations that I had to initiate. But where people don't understand is the unnecessary uncomfortable conversation. This is the piece that people keep missing. The necessary ones we'll fight our way through as needed. The unnecessary ones we're not going to have. What's an unnecessary uncomfortable conversation? Well, a conversation, I'll give you an example for an Aquarius. If an Aquarius has decided that the relationship is over, that me and this person just are not compatible and I'm out, there is no point in our mind of having an uncomfortable conversation. So you'll see a lot of Aquarius just disappear. And that's why, because they saw no point. And if you really think about it, is there a point? Is there really a point in having an uncomfortable conversation with somebody that you've already identified you're not going to be with? Now, some people may want to still have the conversation for argument's sake, for clarity, for closure, for a number of different reasons. But for most Aquarius, if it's over, we don't really see a point. So a lot of times we just disappear. And I know for me personally, for me, people haven't come to me to have the uncomfortable conversation because they wanted closure or because they wanted to hash through things. It was always an emotional manipulation. And see, a lot of Aquarius, we are real keen. we see them emotional manipulations from across the street. So a lot of times when an Aquarius doesn't want to have a conversation, it's because they have recognized that it's going to be an emotional manipulation on the part of the person that is pushing the conversation. So these things are what makes an Aquarius not want to do it. Now, does that mean that the Aquarius should just be left off the hook and don't do it? I don't really think so, because I think that if it's a necessary conversation, I think the Aquarius should have it. No matter how hard it is, no matter how painful it is, I think that they should have it. And if the Aquarius sees it as being unnecessary, I think they should have it anyway. But I think that they should let the person know up front before the conversation even starts, this is my fear. I fear that this is an emotional manipulation. I fear that this conversation is going to be unnecessarily painful for us both. I think that needs to be stated. And then maybe the other person will agree or not, but at least they understand. Because a lot of times what Aquarius don't get, and what me and them discuss when we talk about this, is that a lot of times the other person is confused. You disappear and they're just confused, and they're just like, well, I know we had what happened here, you know? So a lot of people go on years and years and years wondering what happened. And I just think it's easier to just say, it's over. I'm not feeling this anymore. It's not working for me. And the other person, it's really their responses to it that mess up a lot of Aquarius. Because it's one thing to tell somebody this isn't working for me and I don't want to engage anymore, and it's another thing for that person to flip out and start screaming or start crying. I mean, we've all heard of scenarios or experienced scenarios where you said to someone whatever your truth was and they went into an emotional outburst. That's something else Aquarius doesn't like that much. So if we think the person is somebody who's like that, we're even more unlikely to have the conversation. Somebody told me the other day she snapped on her Aquarius, and I was like, that's not what you want to do. You don't want to snap on your Aquarius, especially if you're expecting them to have a conversation with you. That's the easiest way to shut the whole thing down. Aquarius walks into the room, and all of a sudden, you start talking smack, getting mad at them, crying, spazzing. That's the easiest way for the Aquarius to be like, I'm not having this conversation. You already tripping, you know? And we don't like all that emotional stuff anyway. You know, I'm pretty okay with it because over the years I've taught myself to, you know, deal with my own emotions. So I'm better at it at 42 than I was at 22, but it's still not something that we like that much. Another thing, if you're in a relationship with an Aquarius, an ongoing relationship, one thing that could be helpful is to offer. So for instance, say to the Aquarius, I know this conversation is necessary and possibly uncomfortable. What can I do to make this easier for you? How can I support you through this conversation? Because I know that's not something that you're big on. Also, the Aquarius needs to take the initiative to go to workshops, to read books, you know, to watch videos about effective, nonviolent communication. So as the person in the relationship with us, you can offer support. And as the Aquarius, we need to support ourselves through the process. So that's my thing on it. Aquarius just don't like unnecessary, uncomfortable conversations. And a lot of times the conversations that people want to have, they think are necessary. They think it's important. But like, let me give you a perfect example. This Aquarius girl and this Aquarius guy, they're both Aquarius, they broke up. The Aquarius female wanted closure. So she wanted to have this kind of like conversation, kind of like an exit interview when you leave a job, you know. She wanted to have this conversation and talk about what went wrong, what they could have done better, you know, that kind of thing. The guy did not want to have the conversation. He didn't want to talk to her, period, much less about that. So months and months and months and months passed. And she, every so often, because she knows Aquarius, because she's Aquarius, every so often she would drop him a message and trying to see, like trying to gauge where he was, if he was still, you know, mad, if he was willing to talk, you know, that kind of thing. So finally, after her hitting him up, he decided that he would have this conversation. So he was like, what is it? Like, what do you want to talk about? She said he was really annoyed. Like, what? What do you want? And so they started to have this conversation and talk. And they had a good conversation and they cleared the air. And after the conversation was over, he was like, dude, honestly, like straight up. And then this just made me laugh. He was like, straight up, do you really think that was necessary? Did we really need to have that conversation? And she was like, I really feel better now that we've had that conversation, and you seem to as well. So he did see her point after the fact, but the bottom line was that he just saw it as unnecessary because we're not together anyway. And I had to agree with both of them. I agree with her that if she felt the need to talk about something, they probably should discuss it. But I also agree with him, the relationship was dead and stinking. So what point is there to having this long drawn out conversation? So I understood both of them. Luckily they did have the conversation and everything was fine. But my point to you is that if you look at some of these situations that people are really angry about, a lot of times the Aquarius is right. They were unnecessary, but the other person wanted to have it anyway. So I tell Aquarius, when you can engage, do. And when you can't, the other person just has to move on and get over it. You know, I do my best to engage when I really think I can, or when I really think I should, really is what it is. Because I don't even always think that you should. Because remember when I talked about the emotional manipulation? I am very, very irritated when a person tries to emotionally manipulate me. I can smell it coming and it irritates me. So I think for me, it's a pet peeve. So I'm more on top of it than I think other people may be. So if your Aquarius is dodging a conversation, that's why. It's because we hate unnecessary, uncomfortable, overly emotional conversations. And if we can get around them, we will. But I do really, truly believe that if an Aquarius is sound and mature, they'll get better as time progresses. And if they really care about you, they'll work on it. Okay? All right, guys, it's time for me to get going. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to get a reading done, please email me and I will give you an appointment. Also, I'll see you when I get back on February the 17th. And come back that day because I'm going to have a lot to say. See you later.